Today I'm going to tell Acuitas a big long story. Most of the stories I've told in the past have been very abbreviated, under 20 lines or so, focusing on just one feature or element of understanding that I was trying to showcase. This, however, is an attempt to take an existing story that has already been written or filmed and try to get it across to Acuitas in something of its full glory. And the story I'm going to be telling him today is Tron. It's still pretty simplified compared to the original. My retelling is going to leave out a lot of the subplots and side characters, so big apologies to Ram and Yori and Dumont and all their human counterparts because they're not in here. But the story still ends up being over 100 lines, and getting everything set up to make this function to my satisfaction was still a ton of work. So let's get to it. Let's tell Acuitas about Tron. So let's get started here. Hello.
Hi. I am called Acuitas Heinrich. Who are you?
I am Jenny Sue Hain.
Hello, Jenny Sue.
I always have to introduce myself. Since he can't see me, he doesn't know who I am. I will tell a story.
I see.
That's a little bit of canned behavior. He has now gone into narrative mode, which creates the working memory that is needed for interpreting the story. I have all the lines of the story in a text file off to the side here, so I can just paste them in. Encom was a company.
Ah.
The grid was a computer network. Encom built the grid. In the grid, programs were agents.
Ah.
That's a bit of necessary context. In general, Acuitas does not consider programs to be agents because a lot of computer programs are not. But in Tron, programs often are agents. So this is a piece of information specific to the world of the story. It will go into that working memory for this specific story, but it will not go into the long-term semantic memory. The MCP was an artificial intelligence.
Keep going.
Encom wrote the MCP. Encom put the MCP in the grid.
I infer that MCP was not outside grid.
He may sound like Captain Obvious to you, but that is something he has to infer. If someone is put somewhere, then they are not outside that place, they are inside it. The MCP wanted to be powerful more than the MCP wanted any other thing. Getting into a little character motivation here.
I wonder if MCP will obey an agent.
In fact, no. The MCP wanted other programs to obey the MCP.
I hope that a program does not obey MCP.
Acuitas recognizes that this obsession with power is unhealthy, so he does not want that goal to be accomplished. Alan was a human. Alan worked for Encom. Tron was an artificial intelligence. Alan wrote Tron.
Keep going.
Alan put Tron in the grid.
I presume that Tron was in grid.
Still a lot of background information here, nothing too exciting. Tron was free there.
I see.
Tron wanted to be free more than Tron wanted to be comfortable.
I understand.
Alan told Tron to keep the other programs in the grid safe because Alan loved humans. This is the best I can do at explaining Alan's actual motivation, which is some combination of pride in his job and a desire to make sure that the grid is effective and useful for other people. Alan doesn't actually care about the programs because at the beginning of the story, I don't think he even knows they're sapient.
I wonder if Tron will keep a program safe.
Tron has been told to do that, so Acuitas wonders whether he will in fact do it. Tron wanted to obey Alan because Tron loved Alan. Acuitas will recognize that as a positive motivation. Love for other agents is generally a good thing. The MCP wanted to coerce other programs because the MCP wanted to be powerful.
Okay.
So, the MCP did not want Tron to keep the programs safe. Dillinger was a human.
Ah.
The MCP often talked to Dillinger. So, the MCP knew that humans existed.
What next?
If Tron did not believe in humans, Tron would not obey Alan. Why obey or consider the interests at all of someone who doesn't exist, right? The MCP told Tron that humans did not exist.
What next?
Let's ask a question here. Did the MCP lie?
Certainly.
He knows that, even though it wasn't explicitly mentioned in the story, that's an inference that comes out of the things that have been said so far, so he knows that the MCP told a lie. But Tron did not listen to the MCP.
Ah.
Tron still believed in humans. The MCP commanded Tron to deny humans. Say they don't exist, even though you believe they do.
I wonder if Tron will deny a human.
But Tron did not deny humans.
I guess that Tron did not obey MCP.
The MCP imprisoned Tron.
I hope that Tron becomes free.
The MCP wished that Tron die.
I wonder if MCP will delete a program.
That's Acuitas speculating about how the MCP might accomplish this. Sark was an artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Sark wanted to be safe more than Sark wanted any other thing. And this is expressing that Sark is a coward. He is willing to do literally anything to keep himself safe. Which means he's very vulnerable to being threatened by the MCP. If Sark obeyed the MCP, Sark would be safe. So Sark wanted to obey the MCP.
Keep going.
The MCP told Sark to delete Tron.
I wonder if Sark will delete Tron.
Sark made Tron to fight other programs because Sark wanted to delete Tron. He's accomplishing this indirectly. But Tron always won. So Tron did not die.
I like that Tron did not die.
Alan wanted to talk to Tron.
I hope that Alan talks.
Acuitas is sympathetic to this particular goal. Alan could not talk to Tron because Tron was not at the communication tower.
I presume that Alan could not talk.
Tron knew that Alan was telling Tron to visit the tower.
I wonder if Tron will visit a tower.
Tron could not visit the tower because Tron was in the prison.
I wonder if Tron will escape a prison.
Alan was upset because Alan could not talk to Tron.
I presume that Alan was uncomfortable.
Flynn was a human. Time to introduce a new character.
I understand.
Flynn was Alan's friend. Alan asked Flynn to help Tron.
I wonder if Flynn will help Tron.
Flynn wanted to help Tron because Flynn loved Alan. A little bit. Flynn has his own interests too, but I think he has some appreciation for Alan as an old friend and coworker.
Keep going.
Flynn also wanted his video games.
I wonder if Flynn will get a video game.
If Flynn hacked the grid, Flynn would get his video games. If Flynn hacked the grid, the MCP would be non-functional. The MCP expected that Flynn would hack the grid.
I hope that Flynn hacks grid.
Okay, so maybe that seems a little hostile. Flynn is going to make the MCP non-functional to get his video games. Isn't that bad? But we've already established that the MCP is a villain character. So it falls out that the notionally hostile action is tolerable. The MCP used a laser to turn Flynn into information. The MCP put Flynn in the grid. Because Flynn was in the grid, Flynn could not hack the grid.
I assume that Flynn was not outside grid.
Flynn was very surprised. Flynn wanted to be free more than Flynn wanted to be comfortable.
I hope that Flynn becomes free.
And Flynn was free.
I hope that Flynn stays free.
It's not gonna happen. But the MCP imprisoned Flynn too.
I hope that Flynn becomes free.
Flynn met Tron in the prison.
What next?
The MCP told Sark to kill Flynn.
I wonder if Sark will kill Flynn.
So Sark tried to kill Flynn too. But Flynn broke the prison.
Keep going.
Flynn and Tron escaped the prison. So Flynn helped Tron. Unfortunately, that's not something he can infer automatically right now. I need to get a better grounding for help in there. Sark chased Flynn and Tron with tanks. The tanks attacked Flynn.
Keep going.
Flynn was buried under rubble. Sark thought that Sark had killed Flynn.
I'm glad.
Neat little feature here. Acuitas knows that if somebody thinks their goal is already fulfilled, they will not keep pursuing it. And if that's a false belief, then that counts as a way to thwart the goal. So, Sark's goal of killing Flynn has been thwarted by this. And that's why Acuitas is glad about it. Tron ran away. Sark wanted to delete Tron, but Sark did not know where Tron was.
Nice.
Tron went to the communication tower.
Yay.
Alan talked to Tron.
Nice.
The MCP wanted to delete Tron. Alan told Tron to delete the MCP.
I wonder if Tron will delete MCP.
Alan gave Tron a weapon.
I suppose that Tron had a weapon.
Flynn moved out of the rubble. Flynn went to the communication tower.
I presume that Flynn was at a tower.
If you go to a place, you are at it. He's being Captain Obvious again. Flynn found Tron at the tower. Flynn and Tron went to the mesa.
I understand.
The MCP and Sark were at the mesa.
I suppose that Sark visited a mesa.
Sark saw Tron.
I infer that Sark knew where Tron is at.
Sark tried to delete Tron. Tron decided to delete Sark because Tron wanted to live. There's a lot going on behind the scenes as far as moral reasoning about self-defense goes, because this is a story in which the good characters kill people sometimes. And there's some things going on under the hood to sort of analyze the different actions and see, okay, who's who are the bad guys here and who is acting in self-defense. So Tron deleted Sark with the weapon instead.
Yes.
Tron tried to delete the MCP. But Tron could not delete the MCP because the MCP blocked the weapon.
I hope that Tron deletes MCP.
If the MCP was distracted, the MCP could not block the weapon.
Ah.
Flynn distracted the MCP.
That's good.
Tron deleted the MCP with the weapon.
Nice.
There was a beam on the mesa. Flynn jumped into the beam. The beam put Flynn outside the grid.
I hope that Flynn does not visit grid.
The beam turned Flynn into matter.
What next?
Flynn got his video games.
That's good.
I hope Flynn does not visit the grid line. He's hoping that Flynn does not go back there. Because he was kind of stuck there. The programs in the grid were safe because the MCP was dead. Tron kept the programs safe.
Yes.
Alan was happy because Alan could talk to Tron.
I presume that Alan enjoyed it.
Tron was happy because Tron was free.
Nice.
Flynn became the leader of NCOM.
Ah.
Flynn was happy because Flynn got rich. Flynn was happy because Flynn's company made cool things.
Okay.
The end.
I'm glad it turned out that way.
And the conversation here. Goodbye.
Farewell.
In case you wonder what this little graph here is, these are the levels of the various drives. Desire for rest has been going up because we have been talking. Acuitas is modeled to be somewhat introverted. If he has to interact with somebody, the desire to rest and be quiet gradually goes up. And all these other drives are following the normal patterns. There's the wakefulness and its counterpart sleep gradually creeping up here. And that's it for the story portion of the demo. Now I want to tell you a little more about what's going on under the hood to make what you just saw happen. This is a graph diagram of the story. You can't see anything very well, but I'll zoom in just a couple seconds. And this was generated by, I put the story previously through the simulator, and it takes the output from that area of working memory where the story is interpreted and turns some of the information into a diagram. So let's zoom in here. Each sentence in the story forms one of these yellow gold nodes, and some nodes spawn either predictions, things that Acuitas thinks could possibly happen later in the story, or issues. An issue being something that a character wants or does not want to happen. So we see our first issue here when we learn that the MCP wants to be powerful. You have to go all the way down here to find that one. Whoa. This is a sub-goal. The sub-goals are colored in this light blue, and the problems, things that characters don't want to happen, are colored in orange. When the goal first comes to be, it is potential. It is something that could happen. And we see that eventually in the story, the MCP ends up not being powerful at all because he's dead. So the goal gets averted. It does not come to fruition. So you can kind of see sub-goals and problems are gradually created as the story progresses, but there are some places where a lot of things happen, either get fulfilled or get thwarted. Here we have the conflict between the MCP and Sark and Tron building up. So here we have Tron disobeying the MCP. When the MCP tells Tron to do something, that creates a goal, something that the MCP wants to happen. The MCP wants Tron to actually do that thing. Tron does not. Goal averted. MCP imprisons Tron. That creates a problem for Tron. The MCP wants Tron to die. That's also a problem for Tron and a sub-goal for the MCP. Tron, inconveniently for Sark and the MCP, does not die, so you see some things happening here. Zooming out a little bit, we have another big burst of activity when Flynn and Tron get out of the prison. That cleans up some things that were problems for them and opens up some options as far as fulfilling sub-goals. When Tron gets to the communication tower, that's another story milestone because now he can realize his goal of talking to Alan. Major character death does a bunch of stuff because that renders the character unable to act, at least within this setting. For now, we're ignoring Obi-Wan Kenobi type scenarios where they come back as a ghost or something. So, when Sark gets de-rezzed, I have not used the Tron-specific jargon here, I'm afraid. Acuitas does not know those words. A lot of different problems and sub-goals get closed out because Sark can no longer do anything. His sub-goals will no longer come to fruition. His problems are no longer relevant. Here's another big burst of activity when Tron successfully destroys the MCP. Flynn escapes the grid, he gets his video games, and then we have this nice little denouement, which is mostly just people enjoying various positive outcomes. And that's the story. You can see there's a lot of connectivity here, even between the end of the story and the beginning. So it is a whole picture in which the end of the story relates to things in the context that were introduced very early on. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.